comfortable in your cosplays. Because if you try to make it and you try to fit to the anime character, you're not going to be comfortable. You see the anime character has what, a size 6 shoe, but you're a size 11? No, you wear that size 11 shoe. Nobody cares. And if people do care, they have way too much time on their hands. And you tell them, you have way too much time on your hands. You should not be caring that much about what size shoes I am wearing. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, as the title states below, I'm actually going to be talking about things that I wish I would have learned back when I started cosplaying. Now, I know we're in a pandemic, so I felt like this would be the perfect time because a lot of people are in quarantine. This would be the perfect time for you to start researching things that you want to do to maybe attend your first con next year. Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is people's first cons. This is the first time for a lot of people doing a lot of things. So I'm here to help and show you some tips and tricks that I learned through my journey as a cosplayer. So I made a list of 4 things that I thought that you should know, I wish I knew, before cosplaying anything. These 4 things are researching, the duration, what con you're attending, and the fit. Now these are 4 things that I'm going to break down in order to show you how I have learned over the years as to what works best for me. You can take these and you can tweak them however you want. Number 1, research. I am constantly researching a character that I want to do. Whenever I decide that this is a character that I really love, I research so much out of the characters. Now, I am constantly researching what other cosplayers have done, how much it's going to cost me, and what the character looks like. Now, I'm constantly on Instagram looking at what other cosplayers have done with this character. But before then, for example, when I decided that I was going to cosplay Bruna Buccialetti from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Ventura Rio, or Golden Wind, whichever one you want to call it, I did so much research on what this character looks like. Now, when I first read him in the manga, there wasn't color, so I couldn't really decide. I couldn't really figure out if it was black or white or black or white spots. But it was very obvious that he was black. His suit was white with black raindrops on them. So, over the last couple of years before it got animated, I looked up several cosplayers, so many cosplayers, and what they have done with the character. And luckily there were a lot of people who loved the character as much as I did, and there were so many people who had so many different ways that they cosplayed Bruna Buccialetti. So it helped me figure out how I wanted him to look, how I was going to make this work for me. And now part of the research that I did, I was looking for how I was going to make the character look on me. This is something that goes through my head a lot, but I don't think about that until later. So I also look at the cost. Researching my characters is I look up funds. I'm constantly looking up how much is this going to cost me to do this character. Now, if I love a character so much, I never just last minute cosplay. Okay, let me not say never. I hardly do last minute cosplays because I know that cosplay costs money. So you can't just out of the blue just jump out of somewhere and be like, I'm gonna cosplay that character. When is the con? Next week. Well, like, I'm an adult and I have bills, so let's not do that. If I ever do cosplay a character last minute, I always make sure that I do it at least a month in advance, so I can research what fabric I want to use. I research how much these fabric cost. I am not the best when it comes to sewing. I do not pride myself in my sewing, which I feel like I should, but I really don't. I don't know anything about fabrics. I walk into a store, I touch the fabric. If that's what I like, that's what I get. So that's just how I do most of my stuff. So if that's what you feel like doing, then that's perfect for you. But if you know fabric and you know, like, you look at the fabric and you're like, that's cotton, that's chiffon, if that's how you even pronounce it, that's polyester, kudos to you. You do that. Me, I don't know how to do that. I go in, I look at the fabric, looks like the right color. Do I like the way it feels? Did the other cosplayer that cosplayed this character, did they touch that fabric, and was that what the fabric looked like? Also, when I'm doing my research, I do ask a lot of questions. I probably annoy my friends, but I have a lot of friends who do commissions and who are into fashion and stuff like that. So they know fabric. So I talk to them a lot, and I'm like, hey, question, what type of fabric does this look like? Never be afraid to ask questions. It never hurts. Even if the person doesn't want to respond to you, at least you know that you went out of your way to figure something out. Number 2, duration. Now, when I say duration, I mean, are you going to make it yourself, or are you going to commission someone to make this for you? Now, this is one of the biggest things that I will always say. Huge. Do not let anyone shame you in you buying your cosplay, commissioning someone, or you making it yourself. If you made it yourself and you hand sewed that or crocheted it, you be proud of what you did. If you bought that off of Amazon, you be proud that you had enough money to spend that and buy that off of Amazon or eBay, off of those cosplay Instagram sites. I don't really know their names off the top of my head right now. If you were able to commission someone to make it for you, you be proud that you were able to actually find the time and find someone that you trusted enough to commission something for you. Don't let anyone tell you that that's not the right color. Hey, I bought it and this is how I wanted it. Maybe it's not the right color, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm satisfied. You've probably never even cosplayed before, so you don't even know what you're talking about. Don't let people shame you, because that's the one thing you don't want to happen, is for someone to shame you. Because if that happened, you start falling into their ploy of trolling. There are a lot of trolls. Don't let people troll you into thinking that your cosplay isn't good enough. You know what? Rant over. Back. So, duration. Now, are you going to have someone commission this for you? Are you going to buy it, or are you going to make it yourself? These are a few things that you need to know. Making it yourself. If you're going to make it yourself, figure out all the pieces that need to be included in this cosplay. For example, when I cosplayed Wedding Garnet from Steven Universe, that had so many pieces that it needed. It needed a tie, it needed a vest, it needed a cover belt, it needed a skirt, pants, wig, flowers, gloves, gems. So many things were needed in order to make Wedding Garnet. So I had to make a list of everything that I needed. A lot of things do not have 2-day shipping on Amazon. So this is why last minute cosplaying is not the greatest. When I got my gems off of Etsy from Hamster Parade, I don't know if their store is still open, but that's where I got my Garnet gems. When I got my gems off of Hamster Parade, I ordered them when I was in Japan in October. They did not arrive to me till December. This is one of the few things that I say, do not do things last minute. I got these pair of glasses commissioned for me on Etsy as well. I will drop his Instagram down below in the description. This took about 2 weeks to get to me, which I was actually very surprised. I thought they would take longer to get to me, but they didn't. But those are the few things that happens. You don't know what's gonna come in time and what's not going to come in time. Another thing that I had commissioned for me, these Bruno head clips. Love them so much. I'm going to drop where I got these below in the description. One of my friends, she makes amazing hair pieces like this. These got to me in about 2 weeks or so as well. Why? Because I knew the person and I knew that the person was actually going to take my package seriously. So these are just a few of the things that when I say duration, commissioning people, sometimes it takes longer than expected. So always think about that when you are getting things made for you or purchasing them off of Amazon or Etsy, or just you're commissioning your friend to make these things for you. Making it yourself. This is a huge thing. When you're making cosplays yourself, you have to figure out what fabric am I going to use? Can I sew? Do I need hot glue? Because hot glue saves a lot of lives. The wig. Is this going to be a hard to style wig? What are the pieces that I'm going to need in order to build this cosplay myself? When I cosplayed Ermes Castillo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6, Stone Ocean, I had to figure out what I wanted Ermes to look like. It took a lot because I was sewing her myself. Now the fabric that I wanted to use, I had to drive all the way to LA to the fashion district. Now mind you, LA is about 30 miles away from me. I had to drive all the way down there to the fashion district in order to find the fabric that I needed. Every single place that I went to, the fabric was about $14 a yard. I just needed a yard and a half just for the top. So these are some of the things that you think about. Duration. It took me about 4 hours to finally find a place that I could actually heckle the guy to let me have 2 yards for about $10 each. That was still expensive just for fabric. I've made 2 versions of Ermes. The actual version of Ermes that I have right now, the green version, I actually just went and purchased dtjaaam fabric. Luckily, Joann's tends to have coupons for those, so again, always use coupons. This is my biggest thing. I am a huge advocate for coupons. So always use coupons. Also, if you're trying to learn how to sew, patterns are your best friends. Patterns and YouTube. And always buy your patterns when they are on sale. Joann tends to have sales when their patterns are about $1.99 each. Get as many patterns as you need. Even if you're not even going to use it right there and then, get it because you may need it later. I alterate all of my patterns, so every single pattern I have has not been the actual pattern that I needed, because the actual patterns that you need for some of the characters aren't actual patterns that are sold, so you have to make adjustments to your patterns to make it work. So, huge advocate on coupons, and always checking to make sure they are on sale. Number 3, fit. When I talk about fit, I want you to remember I'm talking about how it's going to fit on your body type. How is this cosplay going to look on you? 2 things that I live by. Being perfect isn't everything, and how is it going to fit to your body type? I'm a huge advocate on it doesn't have to be perfect. Making everything perfect, you tend just not to look the way you want it to. So just be okay with how it is. Having the cosplay fit your body type. Now, this is a huge thing in the cosplay community that we've been trying to fight for. Everyone's body comes in different shapes and sizes. Not everybody is going to be petite. Not everyone is going to have huge bazungas. Not everyone's going to have an hourglass shape. Everyone's body is different. So when you are cosplaying, if you see a character that you like, and you want to cosplay that character, you go ahead and you do that, and you make that cosplay fit your body. Do not conform to having to look like the anime character, because anime characters are unrealistic. No one looks like them. Jessica Rabbit isn't a real character, so you don't have to look like Jessica Rabbit. You make her dress fit your body, and you do that makeup the way you want to, and we'll still know you're Jessica Rabbit. You just have to believe you are. Just be confident. Huge example. One Piece. No one looks like a One Piece character. They have very thin waists, long torsos, small, regular shaped heads, but their faces are shaped in a certain way. No one looks like One Piece characters. But if you cosplay a One Piece character, I will instantly know who you are. Why? Because I am a fan of the show, and I do not look for perfection. I just look for someone who loves the show enough to want to cosplay anybody from them. That is what it's all about. You don't have to be perfect. Just make sure it fits your body the way it is. Be comfortable. That's a huge thing. Be comfortable in your cosplays. Because if you try to make it and you try to fit to the anime character, you're not going to be comfortable. You see the anime character has what, a size 6 shoe, but you're a size 11? No, you wear that size 11 shoe. Nobody cares. And if people do care, they have way too much time on their hands. And you tell them, you have way too much time on your hands. You should not be caring that much about what size shoes I am wearing. Number 4, the con. Now, when I'm talking about the con, I'm talking about what convention are you going to be going to? There are so many cons around the United States that happens, and there's so much you can do, and such different weather, and everybody's con is at a different season, and stuff like that. Now, I live in Southern California, so it doesn't really get too cold down here. The coldest it gets, maybe it's like a 50, but it doesn't really get too cold, but 50 is kind of like a jacket. It's California cold down here. Now, there's never really cons around that season, around when it's really cold, except for one that a lot of us go to, which is Anime Los Angeles. Love that con. Smaller con, but there's so much to do and it's so much fun. So around that time, it always happens in January. Around January, it is a little bit chillier, but it isn't crazy cold. It gets cold at night. Those are the things you also have to look at. Is it crowded? How much can you move in this cosplay? Are you going to be doing a large armor build? For your first cosplay, doing a large armor build is very impressive. I tip my hat to you if that is your first cosplay you want to do, an armor build. But just think about it. Are you going to be able to move? Anime Los Angeles? Yes, there's so much room because it's a smaller con, a lot more space. Anime Expo? No, you are not going to be able to move. You will be in one spot all day. Anime Expo draws over 300,000 people to the downtown Los Angeles area. Think about that. Think about how crowded that is. These are some of the things you want to think about when you're thinking about the con that you're going to in your first cosplay. So these have been my 4 things that I wish I had learned before starting cosplaying, and things that you should do and think about before you start your first cosplay. Thanks for watching. I hope that I was able to help out even a little bit. If you have any more questions on things that you think that I should talk about, or any more questions about other stuff, drop a comment below. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Also, I will be doing more tips and tricks on things that I've learned through my journey as a cosplayer, and ways that I can help other people learn things through cosplaying. So thanks everyone. See you next time.